Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we have some news coming out of the Academy of Motion Pictures, and this is something that's kind of interesting, just to dissect, because it's something that has never happened before in terms of movies being nominated for Academy Awards. And the Academy has basically moved for, a specific period of time, basically until movie theaters reopen in mass. They are willing to forego any, theatrical requirements uh, for films that are going to be nominated for Best Picture. Other than the fact that they must also be uploaded to the Academy Award members only streaming service within 60 days of their streaming service or video on demand release. Now, this opens the door for a lot of insane crap to happen. Um, and the reason why this kind of amuses me a bit is because there are going to be people that are going to try to abuse the living shit out of this and get pornos or something in there so that people watch them for shits and giggles. There are going to be people that are going to hack this because again, this is the other thing is that when you release movies in theaters, um, it's kind of like a screening thing, Uh, you can't just bombard people with everything at once. People don't people don't go to see a movie, walk into a theater, sit down to watch Avengers Endgame, and then just see hardcore pornography on the screen for the next 2 hours. That's not something that happens, but it can happen with the internet because of the way that crap works. And I feel like that is going to be something that is going to be holistically abused, and I would pay money right now to have access to the site, to that members only site for the Academy Awards. I don't know if members of the public can get into that by paying or something. I have no idea, but I wouldn't be willing to pay money to it. But if I could somehow get in there and just be a fly on the wall and just see these people reacting to some of the horrible things that are probably going to be put in there, it's one of those things. Like obviously, it'll get weeded out and stuff like that. They'll realize pretty soon what it is if stuff like that does start going in there. But the other thing that this kind of does, besides the jokey angle, the more serious angle, is that this opens the door for a lot of streaming services who have Oscar contenders that they want to put up. Um, and usually you kind of save those for Oscar season, so maybe not all of them have certain things ready. But if they have serious dramas, if they have anything that they think can even remotely contend for various categories, any of the categories too, not just best picture or best screenplay or anything like that, you know, for whatever best actor, actress, anything that would fall under the category of it, you know, you could go with special effects stuff. You could go with high budget stuff. Netflix has a shit ton of that now. So you could do various things with it, which would work. But the thing is that they can submit all of the stuff that they're going to plan on releasing over the course of this, limited time period. So you could have Hulu, putting stuff in. You could have, for God's sakes, at this point, I think video on demand. Technically, couldn't you have Redbox put a movie in for, if they had somebody that was willing to submit it, put movies in for the Academy Awards? Oh God, that would be a horrible thing to think about, wouldn't it be? The fanatic being nominated for an Academy Award. Um, but if they had any actual films that were legitimately good in some respect, then yeah, they could nominate them. But I think that you could see a very high flood, especially stuff from Netflix, because Netflix is on the MPAA for the Motion Picture Association of America. They're on the board now, so they're a permanent fixture. So they don't, they basically, when they do their Oscar contenders, because they have actually won Oscars for various things that they've made. But the thing is that because they've won those Oscars, they have the ability to kind of air stuff in theaters at will, whereas other streaming services don't have that. And Amazon Prime Video, my God, the horrible things that you could try and get on there just from that site alone. The amount of crap that's being released over there overnight. But I mean, even the good stuff. You can take a look at some of the good stuff that they have to offer and just stick some stuff up. It kind of gives the opportunity for all these streaming services to kind of put their best forward and see if they have anything that has what it takes, to get nominated or win. Which I think is an interesting aspect again because this is something that Hollywood's been criticized over for a while. The fact that they're not willing to take into consideration the streaming stuff and the fact that they look down on the streaming stuff and people that make various projects for streaming services. The Martin Scorsese thing back and forth that just got fueled up yesterday too. I don't know why that came back into my brain because I saw some moron who was already talking about it. I forget who it was actually off the top of my head, but it was a tweet. But it was basically it was a jab at Scorsese's cinema comments, and it's like just let it go. I mean, it's whatever. But the point is that people that do a lot of property, especially well-known people in Hollywood that kind of convert over and do projects for you know streaming services and stuff like that after they've done major Hollywood productions. They sort of, they kind of fade. It's I don't want to say it's a blacklisting because again a lot of these people get work from various places, but it's kind of like I think they get looked at a little bit differently, not from their own circles, not from the circles of the actors and actresses, but maybe from a studio circle about that. There are certain actors and actresses in the past that were kind of studio stable actors. Those were the people they go to. Like, okay, I need a war movie done. I need a strong, charismatic lead. Get me Frank Sinatra. Something like that. Where these actors were kind of just in a pool of actors that this particular studio used a lot and repeatedly used. So it's with that, I can understand maybe a little bit of animosity towards other studios or maybe an actor going from one studio to another. I don't think it's the same thing anymore, but I think it could exist on this wavelength because this Netflix and other streaming services are very different from traditional Hollywood, both in the way that they function as a business and in the way that they make content. Um, so it's only natural that eventually the Academy is going to get to a point where they're going to have to accept these things that are on streaming services without excuse me, I'm getting a little tongue tied, without theatrical releases, and it's kind of I'm not going to say the movie theater is going to die, even though it's in kind of a bad situation right now. I'm not going to say it's going to die. The movie theaters will stick around in some way, shape, or form, in the future. I don't think that's ever going to be a case, at least not in my lifetime. Um, but the thing is that it does look like they're going to be going on hard times soon. So I understand that maybe they want to shift it away, and this is kind of an experimental thing where they're planning on trying this out for the 94th Oscars. Not this coming one, which is the 93rd, the next one. And they want to do a little test run and see what's going to happen. God damn it! I hope they get porn on their site just for fun. But this might be a little bit of a testing ground for maybe implementing this a little bit further down the road. But there's not really too much to dissect with this other than that. Like I said, the Academy only gave one stipulation, was that it had to be uploaded to their specific server for their members so that they could watch it within 60 days of its release. Whenever it's supposed to be released on its particular streaming service or video on demand service. So that's the only thing that they really specify, other than the basic specifications of what needs to happen for this film to even be nominated for any of the awards. But the other thing is we don't really know how long this window is going to be because even though they say when theaters open, it might not be when the first theater opens its doors or something like that. It's going to be when theaters reopen in mass, I would assume, because as soon as that happens, then theaters are going to start stocking new films because really movie theaters are going to play older movies, or maybe some semi new movies there before they play newer movies because they're cheaper to use and because they can make more of a profit to kind of get back to where they were before this whole thing happened. The big blockbusters are the ones that are going to be the movies that are going to actually go in theaters first. So the thing is, you're going to have to wait for maybe one or two of those to go in before they're willing to show, these other Oscar winners, unless they literally just want to show it on one theater to get it out there so it can get nominated, and that's the sole goal. But again, like I said before, there's really not too much to dissect with this, but I want to know what you think. Do you think that the Academy should move towards just accepting stuff that streams and not have the whole requirement that it has to screen in theaters? Do you think that this kind of opens the door for smaller streaming services like Hulu or Amazon Prime to kind of get their hats in the ring right now if they can? Do you also think this could end in a colossal train wreck where it's just horrible Amazon Prime scum and porn that winds up on the Academy Award website? Put your thoughts in the comments below. Again, I like to know what you're thinking. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?